So many economists believe the future will be cash-free. You're already seeing it from everywhere you go, whether it's your baseball game or to your local deli. Now, Sweden is getting there even faster than anyone else. According to a New York Times report, a fifth of the country, doesn't even use ATMs anymore. And 4,000 Swedes, now get this, have microchips implanted in their hands so they can pay for products with just a wave of their hand. Makes the Apple Watch kind of look obsolete. So on top of that, many Swedish companies are asking their employees to get implants to pass through access points and to pay for conveniences. Now the red flags start going up. So for our red flags, we have to turn to legal media analyst Lionel. Lionel, thanks for joining us on this. I know you've got some red flags, and I feel like I'm reading out of the book of Revelation, possibly. And I feel like I'm reading out of the book of Revelation, possibly.
Folks, the number one sign on the final countdown that God has given to us to wake us up before it's too late is the rise of the mark of the beast. Okay? And folks, this is pretty obvious. The Bible's clear. One day, if you know anything about Bible prophecy, surely you should know this, okay? Is one day the Bible says the whole planet is going to not just be under the authority of the Antichrist. We saw that with the one world government. Not just the economy of the Antichrist. We just finished up with that. But the Bible is clear. One day the whole world of unbelievers anyway, okay, the non-elect, is going to be under the identity or marking system of the Antichrist. And the Bible is clear, folks. Once that happens, they are taking literally the seal of ownership of the Antichrist upon them. And the Bible is clear. They're also at the same time sealing their fate for eternal destruction. You don't want to do it. But again, as always, don't take my word for it. Let's go back to the classic text, Revelation 13, where this appears. Revelation 13, verses 11 through 18. Let's take a look at the text here. If you find Revelation 13, where do you go? Verse 11. Verse 11, let's take a look. Once again, the beast out of the earth. We're going to see once again, he's got a cohort. The Antichrist has a cohort. He is the false prophet. And he works with the Antichrist to dupe the whole world into worshiping the Antichrist and taking the mark. Okay, you don't want to listen to this guy. He's a false prophet. He's satanically inspired, just like the Antichrist. But it's a little tag team thing that's going on here. Let's take a look. Revelation 13, verse 11 says this. Then I saw another beast coming out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, but he spoke like a dragon. That's the false prophet. He exercised all the authority of the first beast, the Antichrist, on his behalf, and he made the earth and its inhabitants worship the first beast, whose fatal wound had been healed. And he performed great and miraculous signs, even causing fire to come down from heaven to earth in full view of men. And because of all these signs he was given power to do on behalf of the first beast, he what? He deceived the inhabitants of the earth. And here's what he did. He ordered them to set up an image in honor of the beast, who was wounded by the sword and yet lived. And he was given power to give breath to the image of the first beast, so that, listen, it could speak and cause all who refused to worship the image to be killed. Guys, this is really coming to the planet. You understand this? This is really what it's culminating into. This is the future. And I think it's a lot sooner than we think. To be killed is what he says. Then, that's not all. Then he also forced everyone, small and great, rich and poor, didn't matter what class of society, free and slave, to receive a what? A mark on his right hand or on his forehead. The Bible calls out the body parts. So that no one could buy or sell unless he had the mark, which is the name of the beast or the number of his name. Now this calls for wisdom. Put your thinking caps on. If anyone has insight, let him calculate the number of the beast, for it is man's number. His number is 666. Okay? And folks, we've already been here several times because there's so much going on in our text. But once again, on this topic, the mark of the beast, the Bible clearly says, as we just read, we've seen it several times, that one day you can scoff all you want, you can be skeptical all you want, but the Bible's very clear about this. It's not some hidden Greek here. This is an obvious reading of the text. One day, all the inhabitants of the earth, the non-saved, are going to be under the authority of the Antichrist, the economy of the Antichrist, and they're going to receive some sort of mark from the Antichrist. Okay, they're going to be duped, they're going to be forced, they're going to be made by the false prophet into receiving some sort of mark into their bodies, specifically into the right hand or the forehead, so that they can continue on buying and selling and escape the threat of death. That's what it says. It's pretty obvious in this text. But again, the question is always is, could this really happen? Could our whole world, not a section of the world, but could the whole planet really be deceived into receiving the mark of the beast? And is there any evidence it is going to take place, and dare I say, even soon, like the Bible said? Yeah. If you hear the last weeks, we're seeing the technology for the Antichrist system for the first time in man's history. It's already here. Folks, this is not 50 years down the road. It's here now. Now listen, it's also being implemented now. And part of that implementation process is because they're going to do it in several different ways. And the first way they're getting us to be prepared to go ahead and receive this mark of the beast system is what I call the conditioning proof. They are not only have the technology, now they're full-blown into stage 2, and they're conditioning you and I into thinking, hey, this is going to be great. I've got to take a mark in my body, specifically in my hand or in my forehead, okay? You see, folks, what most people don't realize is this mark of the beast system that the Antichrist is going to put in place is not only going to be put in place. There's no debate here. God is the one who prophesied this, okay? Man is not going to stop this. It's going to happen. It's going to happen because God said it's going to happen, and he doesn't lie, unlike man. It's going to be put in place, but I don't think we even realize just how long it's been in the planning stages, and listen, how they have been working really hard, even just the last decade, to get you and I prepared to receive this mark. And they're doing it in a couple different ways. They're conditioning us from several different angles to receive the mark of the beast. And the first way they're doing that is with the media. Shocker. The media is being used to prepare you and I to receive the mark of the beast all over the planet.
I remember when I first started warning people about the microchip implant, I was passing out flyers downtown, and one couple said, I can't wait until we do get a microchip implant. It was a few years ago, and I was actually caught off guard by that statement. She said, yeah, it's going to be so much easier for my banking statements and my paychecks and to pay bills. Well, as you know now, there's so many applications for the microchip, it's stunning. What I'm going to show you next is just unbelievable, outstanding. In the very near future, there's going to be so many positive reasons why you should get a microchip implant that those of us who refuse to get a microchip implant will be the absolute outcasts of society. Yep, sooner or later, those of us who believe in Scripture are going to be identified as terrorists. What if you could not only do your banking, keep track of your children, open, lock, and start your car, communicate with your phone, your iPad, your computer, travel through airports, train stations, and bus stations, shop online, buy groceries, buy anything pertaining to merchandise, go to football games, basketball games, any entertainment or sports industry, be a part of a health club, and of course travel anywhere in the world that you desire. But without the microchip implant, you won't be able to do anything at all. I ask you again, will you then get your microchip if it comes down to all that? Will you get your microchip if it comes down to all that?
We will finally complete the biometric entry-exit visa tracking system, which we need desperately. For years, Congress has required biometric entry-exit visa tracking systems, but it has never been completed. The politicians are all talk, no action, never happens, never happens.
Well, it looks and sounds like something out of the future, but a new palm scanning device will help Bossier Parish schools keep better track of what children are eating there. The electronic device will be implemented at all Bossier Parish schools. Workers are currently being trained on how to use it. A small infrared camera is used to scan a child's hand, and because palm and fingerprints are unique, the system can keep track of everything students eat and even what they're not supposed to eat. The new system also allows parents to add money to their child's account in real time using a credit or debit card. Food allergies can also be listed, as well as items you don't want your child to eat. And if a student picks one of those items, the system won't let them buy it. System won't let them buy it. System won't let them buy it.
It also improves accuracy as well as security, because in some cases a student might obtain another student's ID and swipe it and actually take money off of their card. This prevents that with a swipe of a hand. With a swipe of a hand. With a swipe of a hand.
No more money, loose change, or even swiping a card to pay for lunch. Now all kids in Bossier Parish will need is to wave their hand. KSLA News 12's Sasha Jones is in the Alert Center. She has the very latest on this new technology and what it means for students. Sasha.
Dominique school board leaders say this new technology will make it faster, safer, and easier for kids to pay for lunch. Parents, however, are not easily convinced. Some parents say this system is an invasion of their kids' privacy.
Amazon is reportedly looking into a new way for you to pay. Brett Larson has the details on how you could soon pay with your palm. No wallet, no credit card, just a wave of your hand.
All right, let's turn to one area that's growing for sure, Amazon. And, you know, you're saying that it's going to have a new way to pay for products at its physical stores with a hands-on approach. And you know what? I didn't even know they had physical stores.
Well, they have a few out in Seattle. They're called Amazon Go stores. But the idea here is that this technology could be licensed to any store that wants to use it. And what it is, Sin, is Amazon looking to turn your hand into a credit card. So they would link, your unique palm print would allow the machine to know exactly who you are, and it would connect to your payment service, your credit card service. So Amazon has patented now, they filed a patent for a biometric scanner at the checkout, whereby you just wave your palm and you will pay for your purchase. They've already, according to the Wall Street...
it's coming one day, right?
Oh, I know. I mean,
you just know it.
The online retailer is piloting a new payment method that will be right in the palm of your hands. That is not a pun. That is a literal thing. So for more on this, we're joined now by Yahoo Finance's tech expert, Dan Howley. Hey, Dan.
This is kind of weird. It's basically a new Amazon feature called Amazon One. And essentially what it's going to do is use your palm print, not really the print, a scan of your palm, to allow you to do things like pay for items at Amazon stores, those quick shops that they have set up, where you could usually just, swipe your phone, you're in, you're out. Now they're going to allow you to do that with the palm of your hand. It's also going to work eventually with things like stadiums and offices as a means for security.
But it's rolling out biometric technology at its Whole Foods stores here in Seattle. It lets you pay for items with just a swipe of your palm. They call the system Amazon One. It links a credit card with your palm print, giving you a way to pay without touching anything. The technology, it's different than the cashier-less system at Whole Foods and Amazon stores, which you still use your credit card for.
No bag, no keys, no wallet, and no ID. A move of the hand simply opens doors. Welcome to the future, or what is the present for a group of employees at New Fusion near Brussels. Staff members at the marketing and technology company voluntarily agreed to have radio frequency identification chips placed inside their hands. The kits were bought online, and a glass tube about the width of a pencil lead was implanted into their hands.
For the 20 million Americans who live with diabetes, daily finger pricks are a painful part of life. Getting the proper glucose reading is critical in controlling your diabetes. There is now a group of biotech companies that say they can change the way diabetics monitor their blood sugars with an implantable microchip like this one.
We're here in New York to unveil to the world the plans for the development of an implantable glucose sensor using RFID, or radio frequency identification technology. A tiny microchip about the size of a grain of rice would be injected into the arm of a diabetic patient, where they could actually take their glucose reading from within the body on an external scanner, thereby negating the need to prick your finger 1 to 4 times a day.
Verichip Corporation has been a pioneer in RFID technology, first with their Pet ID applications, and most recently in humans with their VeriMed patient identification system.
To think something so small can connect you to everything that matters.
When your life and all you love
are on the line.
HealthLink is always with you when every second counts in the emergency room, providing immediate access to your medical records.
Because Bob has trouble remembering all his medications.
Because I'm in love with my kids' kids.
Because my car lost control while driving.
Because now I'm looking out for both of us.
Because I have diabetes, but it doesn't have me.
Because I spend my life in the ER trying to save yours.
そして今、私たちはその先へと進化する。一歩。それはあなたの手を鍵にするテクノロジー。さまざまなものにつながり、アクセスを可能にする。あなたの安心も自由もあなたの健康も便利もつながりも安全もあなたの管理も日常もこれからはすべての鍵があなたの手の中に一歩
Phillips, and this is Google Current. Searches were up for Baja Beach Club this week, a nightclub in Barcelona. Now, the place looks like a good time, but people all over the world don't start searching for a nightclub unless it's doing something freaky. And it is. The club began injecting ID chips into its VIP guests 2 years ago. Right-sized chips allow VIPs to skip the whole velvet rope routine, get into the swanky VIP areas, and charge drinks automatically. Sort of like starting a tab in your arm. This week, a U.S. company called CityWatcher.com adopted the same technology and implanted chips into a few employees, eliminating the need for company IDs or access cards.
Ein bisschen bewegen. Okay. There you go. So it's. What is it? Oh, I just took it out. Yeah, okay. Then I'll do it. It's all right. Ist ja auch kein USB-Stick.
If you think about like what the risk is and the risk of infection or something, it's less than an ear piercing. So for something so low risk and low impact, but to have such great functionality, it's kind of like, why not, right?
Das wäre großartig. Ja. Du, ich muss dich jetzt leider abwürgen. Ne? So did you want to say the sugar here? Someone's hoping.
Now we're exploring devices that are meant for augmentation, so something that makes you better than you were. So this is the first step in really kind of augmenting ourselves internally rather than just by using tools externally.
I can't believe he just paid with his hand. Like, you just literally put your hand up and you're good to go. Like, that's crazy.
Hi, my name's Charlie Warzel. I'm a senior writer with BuzzFeed News. And in order to see what the future of money looks like, I decided to live for a month just paying for things with my phone. And somewhere along the line, I ended up getting a microchip implanted inside my hand to see if I could be the first person in the world to pay for something out in the real world using just their hand.
When Elias Brotberger goes to work, he doesn't need ID. And he doesn't need money. In fact, much of what he needs to get through the day is hidden right there, just below the surface, in his hand.
You like to touch it?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, weird. Yeah, it's like a grain of rice.
Yeah, a grain of rice.
Embedded in his hand is a microchip that serves as his keys, his ID, and his wallet.
Yeah, it's all in chip, so I use it like to get around the building.
Buy snacks.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's buy some snacks. Exactly. So I can't open it.
No.
Okay.
So what I need to do is I need to first blip my chip, and it will log me in, and from there I get access to the fridge.
Today's show is all about the latest breakthroughs. Turns out one of the biggest discoveries is actually this tiny. See how small that is? This little chip may be the next big thing, and it sounds like it's right from a sci-fi movie, but people all over the world are implanting these into their wrists. So I asked my producer, Dean, to find out more about this cutting-edge technology and what it could mean for your health.
Whether it's our smartphones, our watches, our fitness trackers, or our Bluetooth headphones, it's clear that technology is not just part of our lives, it's running them. It's how we buy things, watch things, how we date, stay safe, even how we travel. Paul? Cool. We're so attracted to our devices that they're basically becoming a part of our bodies. But what if they really could become a part of our bodies? Well, guess what? They can. Meet the RFID microchip. This tiny chip, which can be implanted into your wrist, yes, I did say wrist, uses short-range radio frequency identification, similar to the tech used to track your pets or your phone. Once implanted in your body, it could identify you as you pass through the airport, open the door to your home. It could even be used to buy groceries at the supermarket. Now, your driver's license, passport, keys, and wallet are all inside your body, contained in something the size of a grain of rice. I know it might sound like sci-fi, but it's not. 10,000 people have already been chipped, and the number is growing. The possibilities are limitless, especially when it comes to your health. Imagine you're rushed to the hospital without any identification. But with just one scan of your chip, doctors know your name, date of birth, medical history, insurance, blood type, allergies, even the medication you're taking. This chip in your wrist won't just change your life, one day it might just save it. And that's why this little RFID microchip is the next big thing.
It happens in seconds. Moms and dads, you know that feeling. Your child gets lost in a store, maybe just wanders off for a second or two. Your heart stops, though. Panic sets in, and you think the worst. It's happened to most of us, but what if you had a secret weapon, an extra layer of safety, so to speak? How far would you go to keep your children secure?
Would you be willing to microchip them? Experts tell us the technology already exists. Turns out one Bay Area mother is all for it, and she shared her story with our Melanie Michael.
Hey guys, good evening to you both. You know, chances are if you have a four-legged family member at home, it's already microchipped. And if the technology exists to save Fido in an emergency, what about microchipping your child? Before you say, no way, I would never do that, hear one mom's story.
It's the longest 2 seconds of your life, and it's absolute panic.
My son back.
We've seen it in movies.
Isn't my daughter?
Over and over again, children gone missing.
It's terrifying.
For Stephanie Rodriguez-Neely, life is busier than ever, with 4 children, including a newborn. She knows scary situations can happen in an instant. And for her, it has.
If it'll save my kid, there's no step that's too extreme.
Stephanie's teenage daughter is a special needs child, prone to wander off and trust strangers. For that very reason, Stephanie wholeheartedly welcomes microchipping a child.
If a small chip the size of a grain of rice could have prevented a tragedy, I think most parents, hindsight would have said, I wish I would have done it.
A well-known technology expert out of Boston tells us microchipping poses little to no health risks and would act as a barcode of sorts.
Without question. It could save a life, reunite a family, find a missing Alzheimer's patient.
I always tell people, as long as you're doing what you feel is best for your child, you're not really wrong.
And guys, this is what we're talking about, the microchip. I don't know if you can see it in my hand. It's the size of a grain of rice, very, very small. And the expert that we spoke with actually tells us that barcodes were introduced in the late 1960s. And back then, people thought, this is way too invasive and too weird. And now barcodes are so commonplace that we don't even think about them anymore. The expert tells us this will happen sooner rather than later. We could see those microchips in everyone.
That's interesting to think about. Melanie Michael live in Tampa. Thank you for that report.
Now the first in the U.S. to offer its employees microchip implants. Experts say it won't be long until microchips are used as passports, driver's licenses, even to pay for things like public transportation.
This company says it's about to become the first in the U.S. to offer microchip implants to its employees. You heard that right. Microchip implants under the skin.
They're about to do this to more than 50 of their employees.
It's the next thing that's inevitably going to happen, and we want to be a part of it.
The concept is pretty simple. Just like how you can buy something nowadays using your phone, what if you could use a microchip inside your hand instead?
I'll hold my hand up, just like the cell phone, and it will pay for my product.
Instead of a credit card,
correct,
your hand.
Because my microchip is now my credit card.
More than 50 Three Square Market employees are having them implanted starting next week.
Now some employees are actually getting microchipped.
I can't wait till this starts here at CCO. About 150 workers at the Epicenter Startup Hub in Stockholm, Sweden, decided, let's do it. Let's get this microchip. It's about the size of a grain of rice. So it's pretty small, doesn't hurt. You barely feel it. The chips function as kind of a swipe card. So, we all have those swipe cards, like you have it in your purse or in your wallet or in your pocket to get in the building. So, you just go up, you just stand by the thing and it works.
Wave. Yep.
It was brilliant.
At first, I was completely against it. But, I was thinking more about it and just the convenience.
Listen to this story. Okay, so if you forgot your ticket to a soccer game, in Argentina, it's not a problem because you can use the microchip that's been embedded under your skin by the team. An Argentinian soccer team planning experimentally to this point to offer supporters a chance to implant a microchip in their skin. Lets them walk right through, like Easy Pass in your car.
It's an Easy Pass.
You just walk right into the stadium.
But the Easy Pass is in your car, not in your wrist.
That's correct.
But see, I'm not really thinking about it in terms of sports as much as I would love to put one in my kids.
Placing a microchip under the skin to get you in your door, to start your car, or maybe give your doctor your medical history.
Or what if your child were to disappear? Would you be willing to place a chip in your child if it might help them bring them home?
Microchip implants are a popular way to keep track of pets. Now, some people are getting them, but for a different reason.
Uses it to open his front door and manipulate his smartphone.
And it turned off my ringer.
Instead of a key card at work.
We don't want to carry devices. We want devices built into us.
Radically improve humans through digital implants, even genetic manipulation. For now, a common procedure, implanting programmable RFID chips under the skin. Tiny implantable digital tattoos. They'll authenticate credit cards, track your location, even collect health data.
They've been chipped. Buried in their hand, the chip can do tasks for them. Phil's chip has been programmed to work as a key.
So, as you can see, that will open the door for me. It's entirely benign.
Holly uses the chip in her hand to direct people to her webpage.
It can help because if someone's passed out on the floor, you've got no idea of their medical history, you can scan their hand and you've got all of their history, you've got all of their details. I think something like that is where this technology is going to go, and it's brilliant.
And this is the size of the chip the biohackers have inside them. Would you want one?
And I feel like I'm reading out of the book of Revelation, possibly.